All right, everybody. My next guest is a very funny comedian who has been grinding it out here on the Long Island circuit for quite some time. Here he is, folks. Joe Crovella. Joe, how you doing, man?
I'm doing all right, man. Just the usual, just chilling.
Now you're like in spring break, right? Because you're also a college student.
Yeah, man. So yeah, basically this is my spring break. But not like in Cancun or anything. I'm just chilling in the basement right now on a Zoom call. So
Staying away from Mexico.
yeah, pretty much. I mean, I don't dorm, so I'm not like in any exciting frats or anything like that. But I'm fine with that though.
Yeah, I went to college briefly, man. Like I went to Suffolk Community College for theater, very brief time. Never really had the dorm life, never had that college life. I did a little bit at Stony Brook University, again, commuted in. That's where I went for radio and shit, but I didn't really get a college experience till I started work. I worked for NC State, and that's when.
Uh,
So I feel like NC State's my alma mater, or whatever they call it. Uh,
yeah. Me, like I think comedy is like my college experience because I just did my first 2 years at Nassau and then I closed out my last 2 years at Farmingdale. So for me, it's just been commuting since for the past 4 years. So
Yeah, and this is it. You, what are you getting? A master's? What are you going for?
getting my bachelor's in business management. So actually, I think I graduate this May. So yeah,
There you go. Nice, man.
yeah,
So then
time
you'll be
flies.
a free agent out and about. Business
Yeah,
management's,
unfortunately.
yeah, man. It's good to have, like the career path. You want to be a comedian. I assume that's what you want your career to be. But it's good to have a skill because a lot of these, a lot of comics, man, or a lot of entertainers in general, if they spend their whole life chasing it, and then it there comes a point where there's no turning back because they don't have any other skills. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
It's good to have a backup plan. I heard Eddie Murphy talk about this like on like Arsenio Hall. He's saying like I don't believe in backup plans because if you do a backup plan, that means you think you're gonna fail. But I don't think that's necessarily true. Like I just think that it's always good to play everything safe. It's like not wearing a seatbelt because you know that you're such a good driver that you won't get into a car accident. Like that's just it's a dumb analogy.
Yeah,
Always have a
true,
backup.
true.
Anything
I,
to
I'm all for having a backup plan, but I understand the philosophy of not like like, hey, man, I'm either gonna go all the way or why bother. I understand that too, but as we know, what you want to happen and what life gives you sometimes two different things. So I think it's good that you're educated. You're about to get your degree in business management, and who knows, man, you could end up being everybody's agents.
I hope not. I hope I'm my own agent, honestly.
Yeah.
That's like the ultimate cuck watching people do what you do that you want to do and you're managing them. I would oh my goodness, I would rather work at McDonald's, man.
It'd be like yeah, if you're managing like Fat J or somebody, like, yeah, I just got you a movie deal. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
have
like I'm
fun with
so
that.
happy for you. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so
Uh,
happy for you.
that hurts, man. And I would never want to do that. I'll work at Home Depot and stack Christmas trees. Fuck that shit. Before I just watch someone else live my dream.
Uh,
Oh,
but you've been doing it, man. You've been out there hustling. You're breaking some ground on the Long Island scene. You get your name out there. Juggling school with the comedy. Yeah, man. What's how long you been doing the comedy and how's it been going for you, man?
Oh, well, what's it called? I started first ever time touching a mic or even doing anything comedy related was June 5th, 2021. So I'm creeping up on my 2 years and honestly, man, like a lot of the goals I set for myself, like I'm glad like I've been accomplishing most of them and just keep putting myself out there and trying, to get to where I want to be. And like before I started, there were certain things that I wanted to accomplish in this game, like around a certain amount of time, and I feel like I've been more ahead than I expected, honestly. So it's been kind of
What's
just
been
like
some of what's been on the checklist so far?
so basically just to like get my name out there, like be able to increase my time on stage, like as far as like how many minutes I'm up there, like perform like by club produced shows, like not just like producers, but like the actual clubs and just like have an impact, like have people come up to me consistently, like say like good things or whatever. And as far as that, it's been pretty good, being able like to host and do whatever. I haven't headlined anything yet. I'm still like not ready, but as far as everything else, man, it's just couldn't have been better, honestly. I'm just very grateful.
When you broke into the scene, did you break in through classes? Like, did you take a class or something, or you just kind of got into the scene?
Yeah,
How did you do that?
so I took a class later on, but what happened was this was around the time I was deciding I wanted to do comedy. It was like still during the pandemic. So I would always call like, the comedy clubs, but no one was answering because no one was like, at the club, whatever. So I just would always be relieved when they hung up because I was so scared. I mean, not that they hung up like when they didn't answer. So I'd be like, all right, whatever. And then eventually, like one day, I was just like, you know what? Like, fuck, we can't keep like hoping that no one's gonna answer. So I just called the second person on the list, and it was Mike Dillon. So then I called him, and like he like let me know about his show or whatever. And then next thing you know, that was pretty much it. It was a few months later, and then I did my first ever show, just prepared.
So, so you cold called Mike Dillon,
Yeah, yeah,
and
it was on me.
just walk me through that call. I mean, because this is pretty cool stuff. So, like,
Yeah.
for anybody watching wants to be in comedy, this is one of the roads. You say you cold called Mike Dillon. You didn't know Mike.
Yeah, nah. So what it was, I remember I was on the phone with somebody and we are just talking about like something like along the lines of like, just like goals and whatever. And I just remember I got off the phone with that person. I was just like, you know what, like fuck it. I remember exactly the thing I thought to myself was like, this is your life. You can take control of your life and do everything you've ever thought about or dreamed about just with the action of just taking the action. So called Mike Dillon. He answered. I was like nervous and whatever. So I remember just like talking about like, hey, like I never did comedy before. I'm interested in doing a show, whatever. And I remember he said, oh yeah, we got something lined up June 16th, whatever. And then I was like, yeah, just like hold your horses for a second. I was like, I'm a little nervous. I was like, I just got to see my friends are willing to come, whatever. He said, all right, call me in 2 weeks, and then we'll discuss it. I think like 4 weeks went by. I didn't call him, and then I was like, you know what? I was like, Joe, like you got to do something, man. You can't keep hiding it. So I called him back, and then he was like, June 16th is almost sold out, and that's when I got nervous. I was like, oh, geez, I don't want to do a sold out crowd. And then he was like, we have some June 5th though. It's selling kind of slow. If you want to do that, I was like, you know what? Heck yeah, I'll do it. And then that was pretty much it. I got my friends that wanted to come, and I did it.
So you went in with you didn't know any other comics. You didn't know anything. You didn't take a class. How did you start crafting your first couple minutes of stand up?
So what's it called? I tried to educate myself around it before I started. I didn't want to just go into it cold turkey. So I remember I had watched a bunch of documentaries. I've watched comics like talk about like like the dirty jokes don't work. Do this, do that, like the do's and don'ts. And then I remember I read a book by Seinfeld called "Is This Anything?" And I remember that's how I learned how to structure a joke. That's how I learned how the jokes are written. So I remember I was just in my book writing jokes out, whatever, and then I had a bunch of jokes I kind of planned out, but then like once I did the actual show, I was like, okay, I'm not gonna because I had some like raunchy stuff like written out just because, and then I just like took like what I thought was like relatively clean, mild, and then I just put that together. And I honestly I didn't know if it was gonna work, and I remember I kept telling my friends like the fear of bombing. I was like I feel like you guys are gonna find this funny. You guys are gonna hate this, and yeah, so I was so nervous.
Dude, and now that's almost 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And what have you learned from that day of looking at the Seinfeld book and seeing how he structures a joke. Now you've been moving on. You took a class in between all this 2 years. You a lot of stage time. What have you learned?
Damn. Shit. I even thought about that. No, I mean, I'm playing. I like as far as like what I've learned is, like I've like learned about like the business of comedy, the industry of it. How to find more of yourself on the stage and just improve your writing. Because I feel like there's a formula to writing, and I think like every night I treat it like shooting like just shooting a basketball. Basically, it's like every now and then you're going to shoot and you'll miss, some will go in. And I think once with joke writing, you start to get to a rhythm where like you start to shoot like where consistently where like 3 out of the 4 shots you take go in. And I feel like with as far as writing, I'm kind of learning the formula a little bit more of like what works, the fat that needs to go, and just I'm getting better with that. So I definitely learned about that. And as far as just like just how the business is run in comedy, like like how it is with like burger producers, just the business of comedy and like what people expect and want. I definitely learned a lot throughout this few years.
When you're structuring a joke now, where do you pull from? Are you pulling all from your own personal life, or you're observational, or are you looking at what's trending? Like where are you pulling from?
I usually steal from Dave Chappelle, but now I'm playing. I Imagine how serious. Nah,
Yeah, been using all his old stuff and
yeah, just using all those old jokes, whatever. But
just rewriting it a little bit for a white dude.
yeah, exactly. Now, honestly, sometimes it just comes to me, and like I've learned the one thing in comedy that you have to do is it has to come from your life, and it's almost like when your writing has to be selfish, it has to be me, me, me. You can't write about politics or like unless you've already established yourself. So I know that every joke I write now has to somewhere correlate with me. So if I think of something pretend in my head that, or I'm like, oh shit, this is funny, I'm like, boom, I got to figure out how to put myself in a scenario and somebody else. So this way it seems like even if the audience knows it's fake, it comes off like that it's relatable to me. I'm not
Right,
just
right,
like going off speaking about like, oh, climate change, this or that, about me. So a lot of my jokes aren't real. It's just like stuff I've thought of that I thought was pretty funny and stuff like that. So that definitely is where my writing's at. Some stuff's a little real, but they're all exaggerated.
right on. I saw you set a couple weeks ago. Um, you were doing that for the autism fundraiser, and I got to see
Scared me. I think
you
about to say
perform.
as a joke. I was like, I did not do
Oh,
that.
no.
I was like, I did
No,
not.
you did not. No, but you killed, and I
Thank you.
also saw at the bar after the show, getting some attention from the ladies. Some of the fan base is attracted towards you.
Yeah.
How how are you handling that side of things now? Because chicks, man, when you go up on stage, if you're a performer, musician, comedian, what have you, uh, the girls get attracted to that, man.
Dope, man. That's nah, you know what it is? I'm a shy dude sometimes. So for me it's like I hate being the guy to like pull up to a girl and be like, hey, how are you? My name is Joe, whatever. So the thing that comedy's made beautiful about this is that they come to you. So sometimes I'll be sitting there after the show and I'll be like, oh, that girl is pretty. And then I'll just kind of sit and like 5, 6 minutes later, she'll come up to me and be like, hey, how are you? Or try to talk or whatever. But it's definitely cool. I've definitely had more older women come up to me than younger women. But uh, I guess it is what it is. But it's cool though, man. It's like it just be like a minor, like a Z-list celebrity, or like it feels like just a popular kid in high school, except the teachers have special needs, and I just
Yeah, now you know what the prom king felt like in high school. You know what I mean?
I feel like Donnie from That's My Boy,
Yeah.
honestly.
Uh, but yeah, so I always liked seeing guys kind of rising up through it all, and because now you kind of roll with a little crew, right? It's like you, LaRocco, Jay. Is there
Yeah, I got
anybody?
I
Yeah,
got my boys. Luke Piccioni is one of my really good friends too, man. I got my buddy Nick Maloney as well, and Gordon Kutcher. But yeah, like me and Luke are really close, man. We're always talking about jokes. We always get together, right? And we're actually writing some like scripts for like some like movie ideas we have. He's
nice.
he's great with that, man. He pounds them out. He has so much great ideas. And then my buddy Nick, we just go talking about comedy for hours on FaceTime, like philosophies and just crazy shit. So I got myself a good group. Good
Dude,
group.
that's what makes you stronger, bro. You
Yeah,
just keep on, like I said, you constantly talking about it. It's part of your world and your life, and then just going to keep making you stronger and stronger. And when you're surrounding yourself with creative comedy writers or comedians, it just makes you stronger. That makes you that much better, man.
I've had that mentality. I've been saying this like my whole entire life to everybody, and I've always tried to like go about it this way, where I believe you are who you hang out with. So throughout my life, no matter what I've liked, I feel like I've always surrounded myself with people that have either had the same goal as me or the same type of drive or whatever. So when I was into soccer, I hung out with all soccer crazy, obsessed people. As far as comedy, always the same thing. So I always try to keep myself around people that are motivated, and like have that right mindset. Because No, I want to be able to like run the smile with them, but like where we're like kind of like even instead of me like being ahead, it's like I want to be on the same level, and if not, I'll walk alone.
Yeah, and like you said, even competition amongst your peers is healthy. That's what makes everybody better. So if you see that, one dude's getting a little bit ahead, you start to fight harder, and then it becomes, you both race each other to the top.
To a certain extent, I've told like some of my comedy friends this. I said, like in this game, like 'cause my friend Nick always says, he goes like it is a team game in a sense, because he's like if I win, you win, and if I win, he wins, which is true. So for me, it's like I tell him like, don't worry about what I get that you don't get, and I won't like because you got to realize like things may not happen today, it may not happen tomorrow, it may not happen next week or next month or next year, etc. But I was like, it's gonna happen. So I was like, don't let anything that I do affect me. I even told him I was like, if I get booked here, I was like, don't give a fuck about me. I was like, fuck what I do. Just worry about yourself. And at some point, because no matter what, it's a good thing for all of us. So this way, no one gets jealous or upset or anything. We all just are all supportive. It's never happened yet, but we all been happy with each other.
Right on. That's the camaraderie, man. That's the that's the bonds built out, and that's what creates a scene. That's what creates,
Yeah.
you know, you guys want to look back and go, man, what a scene that was. Freaking put Long Island back on the map. You know,
Yeah, that's my goal, man. I just want to all like my buddies that like I've like rode with, with this within this comedy journey or whatever, like I would like love to just like do everything I can for them as well as my family and even like put everything on the map, like put my town, my the Long Island comedy scene, everything. So for me
what
that's
town are you from?
I'm from Baldwin.
Okay, cool.
Uh, right now the only famous person we have is Chris Weidman and I think some dude from this like rock band from like a few years ago. I think it was I don't think it's Def Leppard, but it's some blonde, but he's done. I think we all forgot about it. I don't even know his name, so I only know Chris Weidman. So I'm trying to be the next.
Yeah, there you go, man.
I saw
Um,
Chris Weidman actually at like this boardwalk in Long Beach. I told him, I said, "Yeah, man, I'm from Baldwin. I'm a comedian." I was like, "Hopefully, me and you, one day, we could whatever." And he was like, "That's cool, man. Keep at it." So
hey, that's awesome, man.
yeah,
Hopefully, you guys could discuss that again, like on the set of like Jimmy Kimmel or something. You just both
uh,
sit next to each other. Hey, man, we're both
yeah,
two dudes from Baldwin, man. We did it, or whatever.
yeah, it's cool, man.
So I want to ask you. Okay, so now we're 2 years in. I want to go over some of the do's and don'ts of comedy that you learned so far, and you tell me if you've ever done this or have not done this, or if there's any antidote. Okay, so
Gotcha.
have you ever run over your time?
Um, no, unless like the host was okay with it, where if like the host was like, "No, keep going," but never went over my time, thankfully.
Have you ever used a premise before the next comedian who had the same premise?
Hmm. Some of it, like the same idea, like about like being young or stuff like that, like sometimes, but like yeah, I guess, but like not on purpose or anything.
Right, right. That's more of I think a bigger deal if you're the middle act and you step on the headliner's premises. Like I seen it
Yeah.
one time. I seen an argument in the green room. This is when I back in the day in North Carolina. This place called Good Nights, Charlie Good Nights. These two comics actually had a huge argument about a Prius joke. The car, the
Oh wow.
Prius. Yeah, they're like, that's my joke. I do the Prius. You went out there, you did a Prius joke. It's so stupid. But it's warranted. Um, have you ever showed up late for a gig?
Yes, once actually, it was pretty recently. It
What
was
happened?
oh, so what's it called? I was hosting the brokerage and I had a show for Terry McNeely that same day, but I didn't want to like cancel on like either, of course. So I remember like I just was like Terry, I was like I'm gonna be late. So then right after I got there, like right before the feature. So then I just did my quick spot out of breath, and that was it.
That's good though. You called ahead, so you weren't like, yeah, yeah. He knew
Yeah, I
you were
set
going
up
to be
like
late. Yeah.
yeah, I let him know like a few days before, like that's what the case was. So it wasn't like I was just like pulling up in sunglasses and like a leather suit, like my bad, and then just you know,
Have you ever expected to get paid and didn't?
yes,
You can't get into that one.
nah, yeah, uh, yeah, it's happened to me before, but I always tell some of these like producers, I'm like. I don't really care necessarily about the money. For me, I just want to get stage time. Like $20 is just gonna get me a haircut. You know what I mean? So I'd rather just get up every week.
Dude, I
Uh,
remember the first time I ever got paid. They said it was a paid gig. It was out in Queens at a bar, and I got like $12, and I was just like stoked about it though because I made money doing it. Even though it was like with the gas tank for my ride home, but it still was pretty cool.
First time I got paid without like having to bring, that was probably like the moment where I was like really like happy. I was just like I remember just being in my car, just like, wow, man, this is crazy, just like from thinking about it to actually doing it, it just always hits different. So that was pretty cool.
What's the furthest place you've ever performed yet?
I would probably say Massachusetts.
Nice.
I
And
don't,
how'd
yeah,
that go?
Massachusetts. That was one of those hell stories I'll be telling on Jimmy Kimmel in a few years, hopefully. I'm playing. It was oh man, we it was the hotel. I've shared this story many times too. It's such a funny story, but we got to this place where the shittiest hotels of the worst in the area was so bad. I remember the poor guy was like, "At least you're not staying at the whatever it was," and we were like, "No, that's where we're at." He was like, "Oof." It was so bad. We brought our bags every time we went to the car because we couldn't trust it there. And I remember the hallway was so hot. I remember telling like Fat Jay and Dan, I was like, if you guys want to like cook some bacon, we could just leave it on the carpet for like 20 minutes and we'll be good. And cook some eggs too. But the show itself, it was pretty empty. So I remember we were just like, damn, first road gig, and it was just like people. It was just yeah, it was hell.
Have you ever forgotten your set on stage?
Second ever show. I remember I was close. I remember I was like towards the end of it. I forgot what I had to say, and I remember I was like, "Hey guys, sorry, I forgot the next joke." And I remember I told myself after that show to my friend, I said, "This will never happen again." And now I know how to like bounce off it. If I forget the next joke, I'll be like, "Oh well, shit." I'll like address it or say it and make a joke about it. But yeah, my second show. Long story short.
And how do you handle hecklers, or have you had any hecklers yet?
Oh, I love it, man. Yeah, I love it. Sometimes, like if you're just doing like if I'm like at a club show, I don't really like it because I just like to do my set, enjoy the moment. If it's a bar show, sometimes I like it, and sometimes it's cool when like when the heckler is like going in on one of the comics before and like they're just kind of ignoring it. I like being the one to like shut them down, and it's usually happened. I think there was a show one time. There was this girl. She kept like heckling everybody. It was like in the giggle room. And I remember like I was like when I went up there, she like said something during my joke. And I remember I just went back on her, and I remember like I did a joke about relationships, and I was like, definitely not that girl in the back or something, whatever. And I remember I just shut her down, and everyone's laughing. And I usually like it. Sometimes it could be crazy. I've had someone try to fight me before one time. It was yeah.
What happened there? What did you say? Something that offended him?
Uh man, I was doing a bar at open mic, and then these girls just came in from work or whatever, and they were just bothering everybody. They wouldn't stop. And I remember when I went up, I was doing my set or whatever, and I was like, "Yeah, you guys are." I was like, just saying like how they're like really horrible or whatever. And I remember, I think I forgot what I don't know if it was. I think I said you guys are worse than COVID or something like that. And everyone's laughing, good time. Like 4 minutes go by, and she goes like she's pretending to throw a bottle at me, and I was like, I promise if you throw, you're probably not gonna reach or whatever. She's like, oh, like what'd you say? We're worse than COVID. And I was like, yeah, like 40 minutes ago. I was like, you obviously got some sort of like learning thing going on. And everyone's laughing. She's like, "Oh, what do you think you're funny?" And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "It's kind of like why I'm doing this right now. I'm not doing this for whatever." And then she was getting aggressive, started to stand up, and I remember I was just like, "All right, whatever." I kind of ended my set off, and then I remember like she was like calling these like dudes down or whatever, and then me and my buddy Nick and James, we were just waiting there, and I remember James Michaels, he's a good dude too. I remember we were all waiting there, and then just it ended up dying out. I remember I was just like, I'm never gonna go there again. It was
Damn.
Yeah, she was mad, man. She wanted me done. She wanted me dead.
And that was the easy joke.
Yeah, that's you know what it was, and it's funny because she was the only one that was quiet when all her friends were heckling. So it figures that one just got mad at me, and it wasn't even bad. It was just I think it was the fact that people were laughing at her when she was like trying to come at me, and I think, usually when you do that, words only get you so far, and then that's when like all right, so if that's the case, then fight me. And I was just like, oh, geez.
And you didn't even, it's like, keep my girl's name out your mouth.
I like that because I remember after a while, I was like, can I just do my set? I was like, I just want to finish it. And she just kept getting louder and going. So I think even like the next time I was gonna go, I remember I was saying it was gonna be like when Chris Rock returns to the Oscars. Like that's what it felt like.
You got to go there again and have a whole set like Chris Rock did. Did you see that, the
Uh,
Netflix special?
oh yeah, I loved it. Me and my buddy Luke, we actually got together and watched that. We watched we hyped it up like it was this big thing. We saw the pre-show, the show, and then the after show. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, man. He freaking he killed it, went live on Netflix. That was the first ever, I think. And
First person to do it.
dude, that was brutal. He came out
Yeah,
brutal when he finally got to the Will Smith stuff.
yeah.
Dude.
I think it was genius what he did, man. I think the most successful people are pioneers, and he was the first person to do a special like that. I think he helped out comedy a lot because as far as my generation goes, I feel like they're not as far as comedy fans. They're more of just what they see on TikTok or Reels. So it's cool that he brought some attention because I feel like everybody was like, "Oh, I want to see what he talked about." So I think it helped comedy tremendously.
Yeah, I think like that's a good point about TikTok. I think people are used to getting comedy now in these small TikTok doses. What is it, like a minute, 30 seconds a minute or whatever on TikTok?
Yeah,
And for them to sit down, like the younger kids, and watch an hour long special is asking a lot, man. So, like you said, I hope that brought a lot back to with Chris Rock, and I hope that comedy, you know, kind of gets it. I think comedy is very important for a lot of reasons. You know.
yeah, it is. I refuse to like. It's like I'm not like a TikTok guy or any of that stuff, and I kind of refuse to do it. A lot of people go like, "You have to," but I just believe like in my heart of all hearts, like I could get to where I want to be in life without that. And I just like refuse to I just feel like if in life, if you do stuff with genuine intentions, you will get the genuine results that you wanted. And I think me forcing to post a TikTok that I don't take pride in, I'm only going to get that result back out. If I don't give a shit about TikTok, TikTok won't give a shit about me. So I'd rather just do what I enjoy and hopefully things come from that way than, forcing it.
Yeah, I think too. If you're not into TikTok, I don't do TikTok yet. I don't even own the app. I don't. But if you're
Yeah,
not
me
a
neither.
TikTok type of person, and you do it because somebody told you, oh, you had a lot of traction, then then it becomes contrived. It's almost like fake. Like, oh, what do they like? They like when I you know, dance or whatever, whatever the funny or lip
Yeah,
sync somebody else's jokes. You ever see they all lip sync like a movie line or something? Hey man,
try
so
not
stupid.
to.
It's so stupid. But if that's what so then somebody might do that whose heart's not in it, because they're trying to
Yeah,
win over this fan base. I think then everybody knows it's fake. It comes across as fake, unless you're Arnie
yeah.
Price and you pull it off.
Not even get me started, but it's true, man. I just feel like if you're just gonna force yourself to put out shit, you're just going to gain shit. I feel like a lot of the people who are successful from TikTok or any videos or content creating took pride in it. That's what they like, and I think also guys like Sam Rill, Andrew Schultz, they're great comedians, and they did it that way too with the short clips. But all that does now is now when they go to shows, all people want is crowd work from them.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
you build a fan base that you didn't really necessarily want. So for me, it's just like I love comedy. I love everything about it. I love performing, the process, everything. So I'd rather just, I don't mind doing a show without a tripod, without a voice recording, and just doing it because I feel like better things will come out if you put in the real results. I this quote I actually posted on my Instagram was saying, if you love what you do will love you back. And I think that's very true. And I think if I just post TikToks that I don't care about, I'm just going to be miserable that they're not hitting the algorithm or whatever.
Exactly. And I no, I think you um I don't even know if it's rare for your age group anymore. Like I'm out of touch a little bit with the newer guy, but I feel like you're a real comic. Like you have the real stand-up comics mind, where I don't know if a lot of others do. That's what I'm trying to say. Like a lot of guys might want to be TikTok phenomenons or YouTube or whatever. I feel like have the true stand-up heart. You're
Yeah,
about the writing and and the structure of the jokes and then delivering the jokes, and you like the whole process. And if
yeah,
you look
for
at
real.
guys like George Carlin was a stand-up comic his entire career till he died. Like he wasn't really a good actor. He did a couple of movies, did a sitcom or two or whatever, but that was never where his heart was. That was his TikTok kind of.
Yeah,
His heart was in doing stand up, and he was one of the greats at it. The maybe the greatest ever at it. But and and I see that kind of vibe in you, where you love the art form of it, and you're making it happen, man.
yeah, I appreciate it. I take pride in it because in school I was never that good. So like a lot of the teachers like that, like always deemed that I couldn't write or put stuff together. It's funny, that like now like I'm able to like speak, deliver, and write and all that stuff. And everything that they said I wasn't good at, I'm able to do now. So it's just kind of I take pride in that and just being able to come up with the jokes, and my goal is, I'd like love to be like in like movies and stuff, be an actor as well, like the Adam Sandler, Eddie Murphy approach. But like I do comedy for comedy, I don't do it as a staircase to get anywhere else. But this.
Right on. Yeah, back in the '80s boom era, comedians used to write their set deliberately, almost as a pitch for a sitcom. Like, like all their whole act was essentially a pitch for a sitcom. So if it was like Tim Allen doing the 2-man thing, or
Yeah,
Roseanne, I'm the housewife, or if it was Ray Romano. If you look at Ray Romano, mostly all his material became episodes in that show. So
yeah.
but I think now we're in a different place. Sitcoms really don't fly like they used to, um, but I do think that it's it's good to have you know you build your chops on the stand up thing, and then if other opportunities start to open up, you'll be ready for them. Have you done any acting?
Now I know me and my what's it called? Me and my buddy Angelo, we were just actually talking about there's a this class in Huntington that we may do. I was trying to look for something closer because it's a bit of a drive, but I'm definitely gonna probably do it. It's affordable and good price, and definitely gonna try to do that.
Very
And I
cool.
know one thing one of me and my buddies Luke are trying to do right now is like we're trying to bring back comedy movies like how it was back then and how they were such a centerpiece of like culture, just like movies like The Wedding Crashers, like it's on every week, on TV, and like we want to like kind of bring that back because this generation is like getting so used to like dumb like little things on Netflix with like whatever, and it's just we want to try to change that again and bring it back.
Dude, yeah, there hasn't been a good comedy in a while, and I don't know if it's because the
Yeah.
culture is getting so offended by everything or what, but like we need like the Hangover style comedy. We need a comedy that's going to make you belly laugh and like punch the wall. You're laughing so hard because I thought it was going to be good, and you tell me what you think of it because I know you're a younger man than I. But there was that show, I forget what it's called. Eddie Murphy was in it. He played the father of this girl who's gonna date this.
That Yeah, I didn't see it yet, so I don't know necessarily how it is.
Dude, it was so bad. It was so bad. I couldn't finish it. It was
Yeah,
just so bad,
I
dude.
heard. I feel like I was kind of like really banking on Pete Davidson to bring back that culture because he was becoming like he was taking the steps of an Adam Sandler, Eddie Murphy type role in life, and he just didn't do the movies and other than like King of Staten Island or whatever it was. So I was kind of hoping he was gonna pave the way again, but he didn't. So I feel like all it takes is one person to really get it going. But
Dude,
yeah, that movie I heard was bad as well.
dude, Pete Davidson could have been the guy. He
Yeah,
he and he still can be, but I think with Pete Davidson, he got too caught up in the fast life. And look, he's with the Kardashian for a long time. He's in the whole mix with Kanye. I mean, he's in that's like major tabloid stuff. That's like A+ list tabloid issues. This
yeah,
guy was living out regular guy from Staten Island, one of us, essentially, blows
literally.
up and then becomes this juggernaut. And he hasn't even really done anything.
I
That's what's
just
crazy. He did SNL, he did a lot of stand up. He's a young stand up comic. Then he did the movie, and he had a special. The special wasn't great. So he's just one of those guys. But I think if, like, to your point, he's got enough cred from that generation, from the younger people,
change
where
it.
he can be that guy to do a movie like that if he would. Yeah. Instead, he went for the heartfelt. Like, it, I don't know. The King of Staten Island wasn't really a comedy. I wouldn't think it was more like a dramedy,
It was like
maybe.
it was
Yeah.
getting there. Yeah, I just feel like for like now it's just kind of like his priorities are messed up and his priorities are just finding someone that loves. I feel like he's been like missing some sort of thing in his life, and I think that's what he's always wanted is love from somebody. So I think that's where his mind's at. But had he continued with it, he would have made that the thing again. You know, like how big people are in movies, and you know. But I'm confident that like those comedy movies will start to come out again. You know, I just feel like they're just trying to appease like the culture of people right now rather than, you know, do what they think is best. Like those movies like Hangover and Wedding Crashers and Big Daddy and all this, like they were different. They weren't appeasing anybody other than just this is funny. Take like old school movies like Scary Movie 1, 2, like
Yeah, right.
funny movies that were like offensive, but like instead of people just dropping out movies like that, it's just taking a different approach. It's like we're like life is like school now. Like you know in school where you couldn't say certain things, like that's what the world is becoming in movies, even in stand up. And it's kind of sad that I feel like I'm at a babysitter my whole entire life and it's just never ending.
That's a great point, and I do think that if we're ever going to break free of the woke chains, for lack of a better way to put it, if we're going
Yeah, sure.
to break free of those, it starts with comedy. It always starts with comedy. That's what makes comedy so important. They're the ones that hold up the mirror to the society. Go, look how stupid you look. And that's what we need them to do. And I think it all starts with the comedians. And you've seen a lot of pushback from a lot of comics, like the Chris Rock thing. His whole special, the whole first half of his special was kind of pushing back on the wokes. Louis C.K. does it. Chappelle does it.
Yeah,
Bill Burr does it. So like you get all these guys that are like, standing up for it. And then that empowers everybody else to start coming up. And, and then like, I think we will get those comedies back, you know? And I think there's a
yeah.
place for those comedies. Some people might argue, oh, what do we need? We don't need those. They're, they're filthy. They, whatever the thing is.
Whatever it is, it's dumb.
It's like we need them, dude. We
And people
need them.
are so threatened, I think, by like funny people too, because I think when you're witty and stuff like that, that's like threatening. I feel like if you could defeat somebody with the words and just shut somebody down, I feel like that's like such a great quality and trait to have, and I think people are threatened by that. So when Dave Chappelle like speaks, I think that's just why people just try to shut him down because they know that these people's minds. Bro, that's why they don't have these guys on news channels. When they used to put Carlin or Patrice O'Neill on any news, whether it was
Oh
Fox or
yeah.
something, they caused a riot and they would bring up valid points that you would be like, wow, that's so true, and that's why they don't do it, you know?
Because they always used to underestimate the comedian. They didn't think the comedian was smart, and then they meet guys like I said, Patrice O'Neill, great example, Greg Giraldo,
Yeah, another one.
Carlin. When all of a sudden they start telling you what's what, then everybody is shocked and surprised, and then like, all right, never have him back. That's like, look at
Uh,
Joe Rogan, dude.
yeah.
He's the voice of the of the whole world right now. He's like a major voice, like, you know what I mean?
And he talks like to some scholars, like some like legitimate dudes that know what they're talking about, and he still manages to have like intellectual conversations. It's crazy. I used to, bro, like in school. That's why teachers used to hate me sometimes because I would always question like the dumb shit. Like they were teaching us about squares and solving that. I would always be the one that would be in class like, why are we learning this? When will I ever be able to apply this? And all that stuff. I would always hate it because it's like you're mocking what they do, and they hated that. But I just couldn't sit there and just like that like learning about like burritos. I remember in English class, I said something. I was like, good to know. I was like, taxes don't know how to do, but Doritos teach me because that's a priority. And I remember she got so mad. She told me, she said, funny people like you, they just make jokes because deep down they're sad inside. And I was like, or I'm just a funny guy. And I remember just she hated me for that. Just but
I would have been, if she would have said it to me, I would have been like, nailed it. I am pretty sad inside. But
as I just knocked, I was like, or I'm just funny. I just like to make people happy. I was like, or I'm just happy and like to be funny. And she was just like, and just kept doing her lesson. But
yeah.
yeah, man.
Has any of your teachers ever been out to see you live? Have you ever run into any of them?
So far not yet. I've had teachers like that like follow me on Instagram, like they've talked to me about like, oh, that's cool, you know, they start posting clips so I could see. I had a teacher that she didn't go to she wasn't my teacher, but she was at my high school. And I remember I recognized her was at one of the fundraiser shows and I was like, hey, how are you? I was like, did you ever teach at Baldwin High School? She was like, yes, I did. And I was like, oh, that's where I went. And she's like, "Oh wow, that's so cool." Blah blah blah. And then we talked about that, and I was like, let them know, you know, it's like spread the hallways, you know, let them know I'm doing comedy. So let's see. But I've had a few teachers. My friend's actually he's trying to become a teacher, and he's taking an internship there. And I think one of the teachers in the English department, she mentioned, she's like, "Oh, did you hear that? Like Joe's doing comedy." And he was like, "Yeah, I've been to a few shows, so it's cool."
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So now, um, you're still kind of new newbie in this thing. 2 years in, you got a lot under your belt, though. That's good. Take all the stage time you can. What's your goals now? What's your short term goals, and then what do you want to be? What do you see yourself?
So basically like, right now, like my main goal is just perform at clubs. Like I just want to be like I just think that, you know, bar shows, restaurant shows are cool, you know, it's a good way if you want to make money or practice. But I think the goal is just to be at comedy clubs. Before I started, that was always what I watched on YouTube was just people at the clubs and everything. And that's just what I want to be in that comedy club atmosphere. That's why even if I'm not in a show, I'll go down to hang out. So for me, it's just to, you know, get past the clubs, be at clubs, and then after that I'll like worry about what's next, you know. But so far that's what my
Have
mind's
you
at.
go- have you gone to the city at all?
Yeah, I'm there pretty much. There are a lot. I'm actually there this Friday and Saturday, so I'm probably just gonna be chilling out over there. After my shows, I'll
What
probably wait
club?
at the club.
What?
Friday I'm doing my bad. Let me to cut you off.
Oh no, it's so good.
Friday I'm at Stand Up New York, so I'm just gonna it's like a 10 p.m. show, so I may get there a little bit earlier, just do like my like little route around the area, say what's up. And then Saturday I'm at West Side Comedy Club. So one of the comics I like, DC Benny, he's on at the 8 o'clock show. So I may stick around and check him out and wait there. But try even on Tuesdays, I do what's it called? Like I do this thing with like tickets, you know, where like I bark sometimes for like some of the clubs, you know, whatever. So
Oh, nice. There you go,
yeah. So I've been trying, you know,
dude.
doing
You're
great.
you're doing it, man. Freaking
Yeah.
barking tickets and all that shit. That's
Freeze in Times Square, freezing. But I called out this Tuesday because of snow, so I feel like a little bit of a pussy. But other than that, you know, I try.
dude. Some of the greats were barkers, man, before they started,
Yeah,
before they got really kick started.
I take pride in it, man. I got no ego about it in any sort of way. I just think if you want to get something done in life, there's nothing wrong with it. You know, I'm just chasing my goals.
Hell
Even those
yeah,
people,
dude.
street performers, I'm like, who cares how low level it is? If you're doing it, you're doing it. Action is key. So
Dude, it, couldn't have said it better, bro. You out there uh, rocking and making it happen, and you're paying your dues, and you're happy to do it, and that's huge. You're not like some of these some people that were like, "Ah, man, I should be headlining by now," or I should be a star of a show by now. What the hell is going on? You understand, and you're taking I think the right approach, the right mindset, and yeah, and I think you're going to be better for it in the long time for sure. Cool,
yeah,
man.
I think it's good to stay positive too. Also, I'm pretty religious with with the way I go about life, and you know, so I always just believe that like you know like my time will come like for like whatever it is that I deserve or whatever it is that's gonna happen in the good way, it'll happen. You know, so I just stay calm, patient. So even if I lose or do bad, I just all believe it's like part of the process, and that helps me like go about life way happier and easier.
Right on, man. We're gonna get you, man. When I'm still writing the damn scripts, but we're gonna continue on with the Comic Sans films or the series. I definitely want to get you in on that. That would be
I
cool.
love that.
Yeah, man. It'll be cool to have you in there, man. I'm just trying to um, think of what I would like, what your character would be.
As long, yeah, I mean, I'll take Jeff Bosey's spot if I have to. I'll be a bartender guy. I honestly like and like likewise, like if me and my buddy Luke are like we said we've been writing some stuff. He's working on something really good right now. Like we'll always like share with you, like to see if you want to check it out, like see what you think of it. But we're definitely trying as well. So
I could see you being like you come up to like some of like my character or something. You're like, hey man, I was just watching you set and joke's a little weak, man. And I'm like, what are you talking about? You're like, you need someone to punch up your shit, man. And you're like,
it's,
I'll be a ghostwriter or something like that.
okay. I
And then
like
I'll be
that.
and then I use some of your jokes, and then you're like, what the fuck did you just do? After I get off stage, I'll be like, I used your jokes, man. Thanks. He's like, yeah, you didn't pay me for them yet. I'll be like, why?
So,
He's like, now I'm gonna have to fucking hurt you. Something like that.
so
I'm
you're
just
telling
spitballing.
me
Yeah.
I look like a corrupt guy, is that you're saying? I give off that person. I mean,
No, I think you could. I think you can play it off good, man.
I just don't want to get typecasted as the asshole scumbag.
No, but
That's
but with a heart
no,
of gold. But with a heart of
no,
gold.
yeah. No, I'm messing with you. Yeah, nah,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
fine with that. Yeah, man, whatever. I'll be this janitor if I have to, whatever and shit. Background
Yeah,
guy.
I think I just came up with that just now. I think I'm gonna start working that through. That could be something. That could be something there.
Yeah, hell
That'd be
yeah.
good. Yeah, you're the joke writer, and I take your jokes without paying you first, and now you kind of have me, you know, in your trap or whatever. Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah. Or even like something where it's like I'm giving you all this advice and you're like, all right, I'm taking it. And then like you like throw out your set and you start writing the jokes that I was helping you with. And then I go before you and I bomb horribly and you're like, what did I just erase everything?
Yeah,
I
it's
didn't see
like
anything.
I thought that guy was great.
Yeah.
That's good too.
Shooting
Cool.
ideas. Yeah, I like that.
All right, excellent, man.
It is.
I'm gonna work these out. I'll definitely be in touch because we're gonna. Yeah, I definitely want to get this next one off the ground, man. I've been like writing and then stopping, starting and stopping, crumbling it up, starting over again. It's just been a process, and I'm hoping to get at least the next episode written out, and then we can start shooting it hopefully in the summer or so. So
Yeah.
I'll definitely be in touch for sure.
I'm eager to, man. Yeah, like I'm eager to watch the first one. Literally every time I wanted to watch it, something happened where I had a gig or something where I was like, shit, I can't turn down this, whatever. So
Yeah, yeah.
definitely, if anywhere local or whatever, I'll watch it, man. I don't care.
I'm
So
trying to get another one, another screening set up soon because I don't want to share it online.
yeah, of course.
And also if I do share it online, if it goes like public, like let's just say I share it on YouTube or whatever, then some of the festivals won't accept it anymore. So there has to be like not seen by the public or whatever. So I just until the festival run is done, I'm trying to get it in some more festivals and hopefully, knock on wood, we get put into some more. I'm trying to get into some local ones, the Coney Island, Long Island film
Yeah.
festivals, Manhattan. If I get in any of those, man, then we could all come down and watch it. That'd be cool. But we'll
Trying to
see.
think of what the comics are doing now. I feel like the famous comics, whatever, they have this it's like website. I'm trying to remember what it's called, but like you have to like pay monthly subscription to like watch like their clips or whatever. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. Trying to remember what it's called. But maybe you can do that with the movie where with like a subscription you can watch the movie for a few dollars and then all that money you make from people buying it or whatever it goes to, the setup for the next season or whatever it is.
All right. Yeah, I'm writing that down.
Trying to
Yeah,
I'll figure out what it's called. My brother knows. I'll ask him later because he's like upstairs. And I'll let you know what it's called and what they have. So
cool. Yeah, maybe soon I'll need a business manager and maybe you can help me out.
mm,
uh,
nice
dude,
callback. I like that.
So I'll leave you guys with this. Being young is weird, especially when you're in your 20s, because it's like you're both old and young at the same time. Like I'm old enough where I could own a home and get married, but still just young enough where if I go into a Walmart by myself, I could still get kidnapped.
Joe Crovella, appreciate you, man. Tell everybody where they could find you, follow you, and all that good stuff.
Gotcha. Yeah. You can definitely follow me on Instagram at joe.cravella. Probably my name will be in the bottom or wherever, so you guys will know. And then that's pretty much it. Facebook's for my family, and then some comic group chats, and then Snapchats for the ladies. So not and, but yeah, definitely on Instagram, and then hopefully I start posting stuff on YouTube soon enough, and be able to catch me there. I guess I'm
Very
at the mall.
cool.
I work at the sporting goods. So you want to catch me? I work Thursday through Saturday.
Where?
Dick's Sporting Goods at Roosevelt Field Mall, footwear
Ah,
department on it.
nice. Good. Yeah, I gotta get some cleats.
Yeah, I only work in. I don't do soccer cleats, but I do everything else. Yeah, so
Very
that's how I'm
cool,
on
man.
it.
Joe Crovella, everybody.